I'm really looking forward to being with all of you this morning. We have some great content to share, and I appreciate your time. So in case you all missed it, we hosted the second annual Pluralsight Live in August, and it was an awesome event. We had upwards of 2,500 technologists that came together for 3 days of keynotes, announcements, and sessions, and we launched some incredible new experiences that I'm excited to share with you today. But before we dive in, I wanted to share just a little bit of context around why these experiences matter. So here's what I have lined up for you today. I'll briefly address what we're solving, then have you vote in a quick poll, and then I'll dive into why our 3 latest product launches matter to you. And then we'll wrap it up with some quick Q&A. So this should be familiar to all of you. As you're all acutely aware, the pace of technological change is growing at an extremely rapid pace. Not too long ago, there were only a handful of programming languages like COBOL and BASIC, but today there are more than 250 in use today. Do you know that 250 programming languages in use today? And that's not to mention all the tools and frameworks that go along with them. But our day jobs aren't getting any less busy, so the pace of learning just isn't keeping up. And that's not to mention that tech skills have, on average, a 2-year shelf life. So the end result is that we just aren't able to keep up. And all of that results in a pervasive tech skills gap. It's so pervasive, in fact, that 94% of executives report that they have a digital skills gap in their business. So since this tech skills gap is such a big deal and it's so large, we really wanted to understand what tech leaders were doing about it. So to find out, we asked 1,200 of them about their organization's approach to skill development. We conducted our own research on this matter. And so what I'd like to do now is have you participate in this poll. And I'm curious to know from those attending today, what approach to tech skill development do you think is the most common? And these are the 3 response options. 1, that tech skill development is an unstructured individual initiative, or it comes from unstructured individual initiatives. 2, that tech skill development happens as a strategic initiative to transform business. Or 3, that tech skill development is a direct response to project needs. So take a minute to select your answer here. Which approach to tech skill development you think is most common. Now, while you're answering that, what's interesting to me is that each of these 3 options have a different trigger. The tech skill development as a response to individual initiatives, that the trigger there is curiosity. People just want to learn, and so oftentimes they'll go off on their own and they will go learn a thing because it's interesting to them. The second one, strategic initiatives to transform business, that often results from an objective where where an organization has to do something or accomplish something, and that's the trigger that initiates tech skill development. The third trigger is typically somebody being stuck or people not having the information that they need when they're working on a project. So they will go learn something to help achieve or complete a given project. So hopefully you've had enough time to select one of these 3 options, and let's advance to see how the results came in. So this is really interesting. So the respondents on the line thought that tech skill development happens most frequently, or is most commonly a direct response to project needs. And you guys are actually spot on. That is what our research found, that most often tech skill development is a response to project needs. In second place, and you guys got this one as well, it's a response or it happens because of unstructured individual initiatives. And in last place, strategic initiative to transform business. So going to the data from our research, do you guys see that build there? That was like Avengers Infinity War transition. I'm glad we kept that one in. So what we found in our research here is that only 13% view tech skill development as a strategic initiative to transform their business. But organizations that do make tech skill development a strategic initiative, they outperform their peers. So it's interesting to me that there's this disparity. And that's why we've built the technology learning platform. It's what more than 65% of Fortune 500 companies are using to close their tech skills gaps. Now, you may recall last year we introduced you to Iris, the data science behind our platform. Among other things, she fuels our assessment algorithm and our recommendation engine to help you quantify and develop skills. That's what Iris does. We also introduced you to the Pluralsight IQ experience. And the first member of the Pluralsight IQ family was Skill IQ. Now, Skill IQ measures proficiency in a specific technology, like the one you're seeing here for Python. We now have over 1 million Skill IQs benchmarked. And with each one of those data points, those 1 million data points, Iris becomes smarter and our learning becomes more personalized for our customers. Skill IQ has made it possible for us to identify gaps at the skill level and provide adaptive tools to help close them. But while we've made a lot of progress with Iris and Skill IQ, we recognize that there's so much more we could do to answer this question. How can I measure my job proficiency? Today's techniques, they're really insufficient at best. People use consultants. They pay people a lot of money to come in and help them measure job proficiency. People also look to certifications as a way to quantify skill in a certain role or job. And they oftentimes use in-person interviews to try and get a feel for, do people have the right skills in their role? Are they proficient in their role? And typically that data just gets thrown into a spreadsheet, and the second it hits a spreadsheet, it's out of date and it's really hard to stay on top of. And as a result of all this, tech leaders don't understand their existing talent. They just don't have a read on it. And we realized that we needed a better way. So today, I'm excited to share with you the newest member of the Pluralsight IQ family, and that is Role IQ. With Role IQ, you have a groundbreaking new way to measure proficiency in a role. And here's the best part, for some folks, it's free for anyone, anywhere. So we want everybody to be able to use Role IQ and to measure their job proficiency. So let's dive in, and I'll show you exactly how it works. Now, first from the learner's perspective. So we're diving into Role IQ from the learner's perspective. Now, when you first log into Pluralsight, you'll see something similar to this as part of your home experience. And at the top, I'll isolate that section there, you'll see this section prompting you to choose your role or continue measuring your proficiency in a role like you see here for this Node web developer role. And when you click through, you'll see what we call the Browse Roles page. And if I were to scroll down on this page here, you'll see some of the Pluralsight and partner roles that you have access to today. Now, it's important to understand that these roles are crafted by the same experts that create our world-class courses. So you're guaranteed to always have the most up-to-date roles and skills, which means that you can get your Role IQ for specific roles like a React web developer, a security analyst, a server administrator, and a bunch more, as you can see here. Now, a quick aside, even the biggest software companies in the world need Role IQ and its capability to transform the talent within their ecosystems. For example, the Microsoft ecosystem or the Google ecosystem. At Pluralsight Live, both Microsoft and Google announced that they're building partner roles on our platform. In fact, we already offer 3 Microsoft Azure-specific Role IQs today, and those were created in partnership with Microsoft. So you're getting that expertise that Microsoft can only bring to Microsoft Azure. But if we're moving back into the app now, let's say you're a Node web developer, and I've isolated that role down there. So if you were to click on that one, here on the role detail page, you can see in the top right, that little progress bar there, that you've already made some progress towards getting your Role IQ. But more importantly, if we were to scroll down on this page, you'll notice that Role IQ has identified several skills that are relevant for a Node web developer, like JavaScript, Node, HTML5, CSS, etc. This gives you clarity around which technical skills or technology skills are required for success in your role. So to get your Node web developer Role IQ, you'll take all of the required skill assessments for that role, like this one here for JavaScript. In as little as 5 minutes and 20 questions, Pluralsight can measure your proficiency in this JavaScript skill with our adaptive skill assessments. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to walk you through this entire assessment, but at the end, as you answer these series of adaptive questions, you'll be awarded a skill IQ based on your level of proficiency for JavaScript in this case. And here's what the skill assessment result looks like for JavaScript. In this case, you got a skill IQ of 138. Bravo, good job. And that lands you in the proficient territory for this particular skill. But that's not all. Now here's something really special, and hopefully you guys are tracking with me here. This is one of the ways, or one of the areas where Iris's magic happens. After you've received your skill IQ, you can scroll down, and now you've got personalized content recommendations based off of your specific gaps and weaknesses for that individual skill. Now, this is a webinar, so I can't see if your jaws are on the ground right now, but nobody in the world is doing this. This is a really big deal, and we're really excited about what this will do for you, our customers. So now, fast forward, let's say you've finished all 9 assessments for this Node web developer role. At this point, you can click the Calculate My Role IQ button, and ta-da! Iris will calculate your proficiency relative to all other people in this role. So in this case, based on your current skill levels, you've been assessed as a level 1 Node web developer. That's your Role IQ. And if you want to level up, you can study the recommended content, remeasure at a later point to try and become a level 2 Node web developer or level 3 at some point thereafter. And if you head back to your Role IQ browse page, here we'll isolate that one as well, you can see your Role IQ credential and when you achieved it. So to recap, Role IQ is the only solution capable of defining, assessing, and developing the collection of technology skills required for success in a user's specific role, like this one for Node web developer or a security professional or a back-end web developer, whatever that might be. And it's so much better than the solutions out there because it's quantified, and it also adapts, and we're able to update it to keep pace with changes in the market as these roles and the associated skills change over time. But guys, we didn't stop there. After many interviews with our business customers and our individual learners, we know, like we've heard from you, that you want the ability to create and customize roles to fit your specific organization. So of course, we're going to build that for you. And we are building that for you. So to do that, let me show you what that looks like. You'll select a Pluralsight role, like the one at the top here, this ASP.NET web developer. Then you'll click the orange button to customize that role. Then you can name it, use whatever naming convention makes sense for your organization, like a full stack developer for company Acme, or a software engineer 2 for whatever your organization might be. Then you can reorder or delete skills associated with this new role, this full stack developer role in this case. Or you can search for and add new skills to this role. And today we have more than 120 skills to choose from. Last year we had a fraction of that, so we're producing these on a really rapid cadence to be able to round out these roles and have the associated skills that you're looking for. Coming soon as well will be analytics around Role IQ, rounding out a manager's ability to onboard and develop employees faster with clear objectives and learning that's tailored to the job that they specifically perform. And all of this helps to shorten their employees' time to productivity. Now, I'll note that these leader capabilities, the ability to customize a role in these role IQ analytics, they haven't been released today, but they are forthcoming shortly. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll be excited to launch those and notify you all when that occurs. So maybe you're a novice developer wanting to level up in the role that you're in today. Or maybe you're a seasoned technologist wanting to move to an adjacent role, something similar. Or maybe you're a technology leader looking to build better teams that meet your objectives faster. Whatever it might be, whatever it is, Role IQ helps you rock your role. And we can't wait for you to try it out if you haven't yet already. So let's shift gears now. We've talked about Role IQ. I want to be clear that at Pluralsight, we're focused on technology skill development, building skills that can be applied to the products of the future, all the great stuff that you guys are building today. And not everyone learns the same way. In talking to our customers, many love our video courses. That's what we've built our business on. That's what we're known for. But they also ask this question: how can I learn by doing? So we have an exciting announcement here as well. When you need to build foundational knowledge on a topic that's net new to you, often the best way to do this is to learn with hands-on practice. And our new interactive courses are a terrific way to do that. Interactive courses enable you to practice what you've learned through in-browser coding challenges, while Iris, the intelligence behind our platform, checks your work in real time. So we've built all of these interactive courses and launched them on our platform. First, you would start with an instructor-led video tutorial. The video slides are downloadable, so you can learn at your own pace, on your own time, wherever you happen to be. Then right within your browser, you'll see an instruction panel on the left there with tasks for you to complete. In this first task, you'll see the challenge is to change the H1 and H2 elements to the hex version of black. That's the task 1 of 4. So you'll go ahead and do that in a code editor that's found right within your browser as part of this interactive courses experience. And if you submit incorrect code, if you get it wrong, Iris will give you expert guided feedback to help you through that challenge. So you'll see in the bottom left there that call out around an incorrect submission and a way to help resolve that. And if you do get stuck, like completely stuck, if you still can't fix it even with the recommended fix, you have a couple of options. You can rewatch the video clip that provides instruction on how to solve this, or you can select to see the challenge answer. And if you were to select see answer, that shows up in the bottom right. You can see what that challenge answer is, and you can even automatically apply that correct answer right to the code editor above. So the in-browser code editor emulates your real-world workspace, and it includes features that you might expect, like autocomplete, syntax highlighting, keyboard shortcuts, etc. And it also features a file tree, so you can learn project structure. After you complete all the tasks for a given challenge, you're directed to the next challenge within that course. So whether you're a novice or seasoned developer, interactive courses are a great way to practice what you've learned with hands-on coding challenges. And that's interactive courses. But now that you and your teams have learned new skills on our platform, you may be asking yourself this question: are my skills, or if you're a team manager, a team leader, are my team's skills ready for the real world? That's a valid question. Well, when you need to make sure your skills are ready for the real world, it helps to apply them first in a practice environment. And that's what projects are all about. With projects, you'll feel confident you can build functional code in a real-world scenario with some of the most popular technologies in the world. Just browsing here, seeing Node, Express, Java, React, Vue, all of these really important technologies in today's in today's world. So at a high level, this is how projects work. You download a project from GitHub, you code locally in your own editor, and then you push the code that you've written to GitHub, and Pluralsight validates that code. First, you'll see how to fork and clone a repository on GitHub. And if you've never used Git or GitHub before, that's okay. You'll get clear steps on what you need to do to get started. And once you have the code on your computer, you'll have some tasks to complete in your editor of choice. So you can use whatever editor you typically use. Again, all of this is done not in the browser, but in your local environment. And that's a unique differentiator. Once you've completed the tasks and push your changes to GitHub, Iris checks your code for you. And if you need help, don't worry. You'll get clear adaptive feedback to help you along the way. Or for help on a specific task or to see how the author of this project solved it, you can watch the answer video. So that's another valuable resource as well to help you learn best practices. And when you're done, you will have built a real-world application with functional code. And you'll have the confidence that you or your team members using projects have gained the real-world experience required to meet your technology objectives. It's a great way to practice before the stakes are even more critical. So that's it. That's the 3 launches that I wanted to cover. But I have a few takeaways that I wanted to leave you with. So the first one here is that tech skills are a competitive advantage. I know this sounds obvious, but as we saw from the research earlier, people really don't treat skills as a competitive advantage. Every company today is a technology company to some degree. So when you prioritize tech skill development, you're prioritizing a competitive advantage. And that's something of real value. Takeaway number 2, map roles to strategic objectives. So you saw the power of role IQ today. What I would encourage you to do is to look strategically at where you want to be in 1 to 5 years from now. As an individual, you can use role IQ to become the best at what you do today, or start the path towards something that aligns even better to your strengths. But if you're a tech leader, I would encourage you to take a hard look at your strategic objectives. Then ask yourself whether you have enough talent in the roles that are required to meet those objectives. And then you can use role IQ to fill those talent gaps where there are some. Then the third takeaway I'd like to leave you with is to apply knowledge to reach outcomes faster. So the general concept here is that learning for learning's sake is great. I would encourage anybody to be intellectually curious and to learn at all times. But in business, learning should be aligned to outcomes. And with interactive courses and projects, you can apply your knowledge in ways that decrease time to productivity. You'll be able to ship code faster. You'll be able to build better customer experiences faster. You'll be able to release innovative products faster. And Pluralsight's platform supports you at every step of that journey. So now I'd like to move on to some Q&A. If you have any questions that you've been thinking about during the course of this presentation, feel free to use that Q&A box there to submit those questions. All right, so the first question that I'm seeing come in is, when I look at roles, this one's from Al, when I look at roles, I only see 12, for example, Azure developer, but no Java. Does that sound right? So what you're seeing right now, Al, is accurate. We have published 12 roles. These are Pluralsight roles and partner roles. And some of them use Java as a skill, but we don't have a Java-specific skill published today. And that's where the beauty of role customization comes into play. We're going to give customers the ability to create their own roles and add the skills that matter to them so that they can build an entirely net new custom role that meets their team objectives, project objectives, business objectives, whatever it might be. It's a great question from Al. Appreciate that. And then a question from Matthew. The question is, how do I see a list of interactive courses available today? What I'd encourage you to do, Matthew, is to log into Pluralsight and search in the search bar for hands-on learning. Using that search phrase, you'll be able to see a list of interactive courses. The other way to find interactive courses is to go through the different paths that you're interested in. Let's say you're interested in C#, for example. I'd encourage you to go click on the C# path, and you'll see within that path there is an associated interactive course that's related to C#. A question from Joshua now. Do you see RoleIQ as becoming an industry benchmark integrated with part of the hiring team and building processes in organizations? So Joshua, I love the way that you're thinking about RoleIQ, because that's where our heads are at as well. We absolutely see it becoming an industry benchmark. We would like for everyone to be able to index their skills, measure their role proficiency with RoleIQ, and use that as people progress through their careers, as they explore new opportunities. So absolutely, that's the direction that we're headed. Great question. Let's see. So the next question is coming in from Kelly. Kelly asks, you mentioned that to customize roles, you can remove or add skill assessments. What if we wanted to add our own assessments? I love this question as well. As of today, Pluralsight is working with our network of technology experts, our author network, one of the largest in the world, to develop these assessments. And we are developing those assessments based on our core areas of focus. For example, IT, software development, cloud, security, data, those types of areas. Now, it seems like there's an interest in our customers developing their own assessments. What I would encourage in this case, until at some future date we provide tooling for authors to create their own assessments, which may very well happen in the future, I would encourage you to reach out to Pluralsight and voice which assessments or which skills are a priority for you, so that we could perhaps get those into our queue and make sure that we have you covered there. All right, let me check out this next question here. This is a question from Raymond. Raymond asks, I wish there was a way I could tell how much other developers are earning with similar skills and proficiency. That's something that we heard several times in the discovery process when building RoleIQ. So you're not alone, Raymond, in that inquiry. As of today in RoleIQ, that is not a feature that we have, but it's certainly something that we've considered, and something that we would like to conduct more interviews around to understand the need and the value of providing that opportunity. So thank you for that question there. And the last question I have coming in, the last one we have time for today, is role customization available today? So for those of you that missed that, role customization is not in general release today, but it is forthcoming, and we'll certainly announce that to you as soon as that is in general release. And with that, yeah, we're gonna hold on Q&A. If there are any others that come in after this point, we'll certainly log those and be sure to reach out to you after the webinar.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your questions. And Tom, thank you for this presentation. It's been awesome to jump into these product experiences, and most of them that you've seen here you can use today, and then we obviously have some new things that are coming that we hope everyone will watch out for. As we wrap up, Tom, is there anything else that you want to share with our audience here before we all hop off?
Yeah, I mean, oh, thank you we just got another great comment in from Joshua. Appreciate that. I think the three takeaways, will probably stand, but there is one other thing that I wanted to mention, And that is that we have Pluralsight live every year, and this is a great event. We've already announced the dates for next year. It's going to be August 26th through 29th in 2019. It'll happen again here in Salt Lake City, and I would just encourage everybody to be there in person. This webinar recap is a great way to get info around some of the things that we announced, but being there in person, interacting with the product in real time, and learning best practices from folks on the Pluralsight side, from our author network, and from other customers. We've heard from many of our attendees that that's a real value add.